Andrade no longer seeing Almas. This dude is gonna be huge. I declare and decree it. This dude is gonna be huge. And you know how you could quantify it? You know how you can say, okay, that guy has it. You don't know what it quite is, but you know it when you see it. Andrade and Selena Vega, the pairing of those two, they have it. They have it all. Personality, promos, and Andrade in the ring is just tremendous. And Tuesday night was just another display of a long list of opponents that they continue to put in Andrade's face and a long list of tests that they continue to put in this guy's face, and he continues to pass it with flying colors. So if they want it, if WWE wants it, if Vince wants it, that guy is gonna be huge, huge one day. And I'm gonna get into this Rey Mysterio match, a match of the year candidate, as we get into this review. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified of every video that I make, wrestling fans. So, we started off the show, WWE Smackdown Live. We started off with the man, Becky Lynch. She strode through in her SUV. She pulled up on the New Day and Heavy Machinery. Heavy Machinery was making this smoothie, this ungodly smoothie of ham and everything else. And Becky Lynch just downed it. One go. And the New Day was just looking at her like, whoa. Xavier Woods had a demand shirt. And I think it was Kofi Kingston that started a "the man right here" chant. A mystical chant. I'm sorry if you don't get this reference. The man right here, a mystical chant in 2019. Just go to YouTube, type in "the man right chair," CHEA, and you'll get the reference. The man right chair reference in 2019, New Day cracks me up, even when they don't have prominent positions on the show. So Becky headed to the ring. She talked about how everyone in the roster believed that she was just hype. And she said that Asuka is really the one that's just hype. She went to WrestleMania undefeated, unbreakable, at least according to her own hype. And she lost to Charlotte, someone that Becky's beaten countless times over. And before Becky could get finished with that, Asuka arrived. And she said that all Becky does is buzz. And I don't like Asuka getting involved in these overly long talking segments. Like I said in my reaction to this promo segment, Asuka should be like a Goldberg. She should come in, have a few words, say you're next, and kick the crap out of somebody. So she said that Becky is all buzz like a bee. And before they could get into it, we had the Iconics come down. They talked about how they would win the Royal Rumble. I guess they're going to freebird the women's title. And they talked about how they would win the first ever women's tag team titles. So, as they were coming down, I said, man, oh, here we go. Somebody called Teddy Long. We got a tag team match player. The Iconics are going to get destroyed. Well, I was right about one thing. We had Becky up against, she was up against Peyton Royce, and there was not really much to this match at all. And I mean, it was basically just a destruction of the Iconics, basically a destruction of Peyton Royce. And at this point, Becky shouldn't be losing, so Becky should be dominating. I just hate that it comes against the Iconics. It's like that's all the Iconics are good for, is just putting somebody over and getting destroyed in a match. And the match would end as Becky would lock on a disarmer. And I mean, if that wasn't bad enough, Asuka jumps into the ring and starts yelling. And I think was Japanese. I couldn't understand what she was saying. She was yelling something. I couldn't understand it. So she got into a match with Billie Kay. That match only went for about a minute. Asuka locked in the disarmer, got a little cocky, almost got rolled up. But she won when she locked in the Asuka lock. So Becky and Asuka looked like they were gonna face off and go at it, but AJ Styles' music hit. I'm up there thinking, well, guess AJ Styles wants the women's title too. He wants some of this. So AJ Styles makes a lap around the ring and goes up into the audience, and I'm like, well, what? We cut to commercial break, and we cut from commercial break. There's AJ Styles. Surprise, surprise, he's at the vendor. Buy the hot dogs, buy the sodas. He said, if you want, used by a group of people, he said, if you want hot dogs, eat them. If you want sodas, drink them. And he just started tossing merch, free merch, to everyone. The crowd was in a frenzy, and out of nowhere, someone in a black hoodie jumps out, attacks AJ Styles, and it is no other than the new Daniel Bryan. He lays the beat down on AJ Styles, and what we got here was a phenomenal segment. Phenomenal beatdown, phenomenal back and forth, which ended with Daniel Bryan going through a table, condiments everywhere, mustard and ketchup all over Daniel Bryan, and it was a good setting. Security broke up AJ Styles from going after Daniel Bryan again, and it was a good segment. Next up, we had the Usos. They were doing a photo shoot for the Royal Rumble, and Jimmy got a red letter. He was talking about how, you know what, this is probably from Naomi, and he got his brother to read it. Like, why would you get your brother to read that? Like, really? But to the point, letter said, "Dear Jimmy, I've been another girl, and I need you to lock me up in the Uso penitentiary. Love, Mandy." And there was a hotel key in the letter as well. So we'll get to that later. Don't get me started. Backstage, also, Samoa Joe was heading to the ring. He passes up EC3, who's randomly backstage again. I won't get on how mad I got about that on Raw. I got mad about that last night too. He's looking at himself for whatever reason. So Joe moves on from there. Backstage again, we come off commercial break. We had Andrade and Selena Vega, and they talked about Andrade carrying his momentum into the main event. Said that Rey was his idol, but things have changed. And Selena said that Andrade would take care of Rey and eliminate 29 other men to win the Royal Rumble and main event at WrestleMania. That would be something. Quite honestly, it's not going to happen, but it would be something. Next up, we had Samoa Joe versus Mustafa Ali, and before we can even get to that, Samoa Joe ramshacks poor old Mustafa Ali. Like, he laid the beat down on Mustafa Ali, and man, I have never seen anybody get thrown into a ring post like that. Like, Mustafa Ali really sold that. And it just made a pling noise right when he flew into that ring post the first time and the second time. Like, those were vicious. It reminded me of when Kevin Nash threw Rey Mysterio into the trailer on WCW Nitro like a lawn dart. Like, goodness, that was nasty. And Samoa Joe also came back, threw him into the barricade as well. Jeez, I like fierce Samoa Joe. And a fierce Samoa Joe that should have had a title by now, to be quite honest with you. So after all of that, we got Sonya Deville backstage with Mandy Rose. She tried to talk her out of this thing with Naomi. Sonya Deville didn't like it whatsoever, but Mandy Rose wanted to get at Naomi. She wanted to break up a marriage. Can we just say that this was all done to put over this stupid Temptation Island show that was going to get shown on USA after Smackdown? That's what I think anyways. That's the prevailing thought on Twitter that I see anyways as well. So after that, we had Samoa Joe backstage. He talked about attacking Mustafa Ali. He said that this was just a point that he was proving. He said that he wasn't done. He was going to prove his point to 29 other superstars in the Royal Rumble. He said he's going to hunt down every champion and put them to sleep. So, ladies and gentlemen, after that, Fierce Samoa Joe, I love him. After that, we got Rey Mysterio versus Andrade Almas, a match of the year candidate. We started with chain wrestling. We started with a good old test of strength. Haven't seen anything like that since the 90s, but that was as slow as this match got because it picked up fast. And I'm just going to shoot through some of these spots that we had. We had two Hurricane Ranas, one to the outside by Rey Mysterio. We had a sick spot where Rey sent Almas over the top rope. Almas landed on his feet. Rey Mysterio was on his shoulders, and we got a sick power bomb to the floor. Just a splat of Rey Mysterio to the floor. After that, and at some point in the match, Rey Mysterio hit a Hurricane Rana on Andrade. Almas went back to the top, and he hit a Meteor to the outside on the floor. That was just a phenomenal spot heading into the commercial break. And we just got spot after spot after spot in this match. Rey Mysterio put out another Canadian Destroyer in this match. Sick. He put out a crucifix bomb that got a near fall in this match. And this, you could tell you was watching something special. And I just wish that it went down at a pay-per-view. I'm going to get into that later. The match would end as Selena Vega would get involved. Jumped up on the apron. And Andrade Almas hit a hammerlock DDT for the win. Look, I was just exhausted at the end of this match. Like, it was phenomenal. The only thing that I wish, like I mentioned earlier, is that I wish it would have went down at a pay-per-view. These are two Andrade Almas and two Andrade. I keep calling him Almas. He has no name. It's just going to take me a while to get used to that. I'm sorry. But two Andrade versus Rey Mysterio matches that are just going down on random Smackdowns. Like, we need some stakes on this. Mask versus hair. We need one of them to win a title. Like, if you're not going to do that with Rusev, he's getting the Shinsuke Nakamura treatment, for goodness sakes. Not even making TV. You got the second most important title. You're not even making TV. At least give it to Andrade, or Rey Mysterio, and they can fight over it, for goodness sakes. But nonetheless, a phenomenal match. And I got to say that SmackDown just went downhill from here. We got Jimmy going into the hotel room with Mandy Rose. That took us into a break. And we came off of break. There Mandy Rose was, with not much on a robe and not much on under that. So Jimmy was sitting there with Mandy, standing there with Mandy. He was talking about how he couldn't go through with this. They couldn't go through with this. Had his hands up, and like the dumbest moment of Tuesday night, a paparazzi comes in and takes pictures of Jimmy and Mandy. And like, I know we arrive at moments where we got to suspend belief in wrestling, but we had a camera right there. Like, your big plan, Mandy, was to get a paparazzi in to take pictures of Jimmy, where we got a camera filming it with a live wrestling audience watching it, where Naomi could just see this. Like, I just cannot suspend belief over that. Like, it just makes no sense to me. No, I can't suspend my belief past that. No, I can't do it. But anyways, Naomi pops up out of nowhere like the Undertaker, and we had ourselves a good old brawl, and it wasn't even a good brawl. It was a mediocre brawl that ended up with Mandy Rose standing tall. Jimmy comes over to check over on Naomi. She says that she's okay. Can we end this storyline? Can we just have the Mandy Rose Naomi match and end this all, for goodness sakes? So after this, I told you it went all downhill after the Andrade Rey Mysterio match. We had The Miz with Shane McMahon. We had a birthday bash. We had The Miz call out down Shane McMahon. And there was cake. The Miz got Shane McMahon some fresh Jordans. I can't lie, them Jordans was fresh. I can't lie. But the segment was not. I didn't enjoy it whatsoever. And they're singing happy birthday to Shane McMahon. How does The Miz find himself in this situation? I'll get to that later. But I was just sitting there like, okay, can somebody please break this up? And finally, the bar breaks it up. Shane said that Sheamus must think that he's a real tough guy for taking out The Miz last week. So Shane set up a match. Sheamus versus The Miz. The Miz didn't like it, but he went through with it anyway. And there was nothing to this match at all. We got a Miz who was in slacks and a button-down shirt. And, like, I didn't enjoy this match. It picked up when The Miz went for the skull crushing finale. Sheamus rolled out of it. The Miz gave him some drop kicks in the corner for his troubles. Cesaro jumped up on the apron, and of course, there's a cake ringside, so somebody has to go through that cake. That's the rule of thumb in wrestling. So Shane McMahon jumped up on the apron. Cesaro went through the cake. The Miz got the roll up for the win. And we weren't done. Sheamus was set up in the corner. And Shane McMahon was going for the coast to coast. And the Miz grabbed the cake. And Shane went coast to cake in Sheamus's face. And that's how we would end Tuesday Night Smackdown. So I said, how did The Miz get at this point? The Miz was next in line for the world title. Don't you remember the segment that The Miz, AJ Styles, and Daniel Bryan had where The Miz jumps up on the apron and he says, I don't care what happens, I'm next in line for that world title. What happened to that? Like, we're just going to ignore The Miz and Daniel Bryan, ignore The Miz and AJ Styles. I like The Miz gets saddled with Shane freaking McMahon. Shane weasel his way into every big match, McMahon. I've had it with Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles. Shane McMahon in a big tag match with Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. He gets to be in nearly every big match. He finds his way with every big opponent. And now he's going to get saddled with The Miz somehow. I don't know if they're going to have the tag titles or or the other shoe is eventually going to drop and The Miz is going to crack Shane over the head and we get a one-on-one match, Miz versus Shane McMahon, at WrestleMania. Like, man, I'm sick of Shane McMahon. Can we do something else? It's like Triple H with me at this point. We don't need to see you anymore at WrestleMania. We don't want you anymore at WrestleMania. Just sit in the back and do what you do. Just stay out of the ring, for goodness sake. I'm sick and tired of Shane McMahon and Triple H, for that matter, at WrestleMania. But here we are. Overall, WWE Smackdown, the first hour and a half was bearable, and it was good. It had its good moments, and it was really decent. The Andrade versus Rey Mysterio match was out of this world. Match of the year candidate, for goodness sakes. But that last 30 minutes with Jimmy and Mandy Rose and Shane and The Miz and the bar was just horrendous. I did not enjoy it. So it was a tale of two shows, if you ask me. I enjoyed it for the greater majority, but those last 30 minutes were just horrible, man. So let me know what you thought of WWE Smackdown. Feel free to check out my channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well. Feel free to hit that like button on this video. You can find me on Twitter at OMGCorey, at 2SweetPod. I am out.